another division previews today. Today we've got the NFC South, the most weird, crazy, boring division in football last season. I think all those things are accurate and true. All those adjectives are perfect to describe this division. The Carolina Panthers ended up winning this crazy division at 8 wins, 8-9. Three teams had the same record of 8-9 in this division. Man, this is going to be a crazy division to cover. Crazy division to cover this season. So let's get right into it, man. Starting with the Carolina Panthers, who won this division last season. They were kind of up and down all season. Bryce Young, year 3. What was he going to look like in year 3? They really kind of took them a while to build around him. I would say they finally got him a receiver last year in Ted McMillan Jr. And I think it ended up being the right pick. I think these two guys, quarterback receiver duo, are going to be a fun to watch. I think they're going to be a good quarterback receiver duo. It's clearly helping them win games. They won the division last season, came down to the last game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like what they did defensively in the offseason, bringing in Jalen Phillips. They kind of struggled to get off the field on third down last season. And I think this team is going to take that next step this season. I had this team, early in free agency / offseason / the draft. I kind of was thinking about it, and I was like, man, the Carolina Panthers seem like a team that kind of no one really is expecting to be a top tier team. I think this is one of those teams that they, ended the season kind of well last season. Not just winning the division, but in the playoffs. Nobody really gave this team a chance to do anything against the Rams. I feel like people were kind of, feeling like the Rams were going to blow this team out. The game was at Carolina. It was a great atmosphere in the playoffs. They were a possession away from beating the LA Rams last year, guys. They were a possession away. I think this team can play with anybody. Bryce Young, to me, is one of the most clutch quarterbacks in the NFL. Not from a come from behind, or like game-winning drive type perspective, but every single time late last season that the team needed him to step up and get a drive going or make a play, he stepped up and he did that. There have been a lot of Bryce Young detractors over the last couple years. I think he kind of proved some people wrong last season. I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong this season. Man, this team is interesting to kind of evaluate because I don't think they're going to be like a 12-win team or anything like that. I don't think they're going to dominate in that fashion. But I think they can win this division? Yeah. I mean, they improved from last season, so of course, like, I'm going to be watching this team and I'm going to be kind of watching the growth of this team to see if they can become one of the powers in the NFC. And Bryce Young, man, I think Bryce Young is going to have a good fourth year. Contract year, that's going to be something interesting to watch as far as, extension and stuff like that. Another quarterback in his class has extension stuff coming up too, CJ Stroud. So the CJ Stroud, Bryce Young extension contract stuff is going to be fun to watch for me. But I believe in Bryce Young, man. I really do. I really believe in Bryce Young and I think he's going to take this team to the next level. Does that mean Super Bowl? I don't know if that means Super Bowl yet, but can they get to the playoffs again and maybe make a run? Yeah, I think so. I think that's something that Panthers fans should expect. with this team with Bryce Young in year 4. The Panthers, winners of the division, can they do it again? We'll see. Going to the next team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a team that was very hot to start the season last season, guys. They were very hot to start the season, and they faltered. The injuries had a lot to do with it. Missed the playoffs. They lose the last game against the team we just talked about to ultimately miss the playoffs. Baker Mayfield contract disputes early in the offseason. Mike Evans is gone. Their leader on offense, future Hall of Famer. Vita Vea requested a trade. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on with this team right now, and I think the question is, can they kind of overcome all this? It feels like there's a dark cloud around this organization right now in the preseason with all this stuff. Can they kind of overcome that and lock in and make a run? And can they stay healthy, man? Because I think that was the main thing last season is they just got they just got hit with the injury bug bad, and it was early in the season. Baker Mayfield is a very good quarterback, but he can only do so much. I think they kind of proved that towards the end of the season. They kind of faltered, maybe lost some games they shouldn't have lost, and all of a sudden you're looking at it and you're out of the playoffs. And so I think the question for this team is going to be, can they weather the storm? We talked about a dark cloud in this organization, over this organization right now. Can they weather the storm and just keep that train moving and win some games and hopefully win the division? I think we're going to find out a lot about this team early on in the season. And hot take is Todd Bowles on the hot seat. Todd Bowles, is he on the hot seat? My opinion, I thought the way this thing ended last season, the bad loss to the Falcons last year, late in the season, ultimately they were able to make it a winning you're in situation for the division. They ultimately lost that. And I think it's a fair question. I think if you're Tampa Bay last season, if you wanted to do it, if you wanted to fire him, that was a perfect opportunity for you to do so. Clint Kubiak was going to be in the coaching cycle. Obviously, we didn't know what was going to happen with the Seahawks. I mean, who the hell saw them winning the Super Bowl? Not me, but I think if you're a Bucks fan, you kind of go back to that and you're thinking, man, what if we made the move on Todd Bowles and we're able to get Clint Kubiak? It's a what if question. What if? But that didn't happen. You have Todd Bowles as your head coach right now, and I think this team is kind of looking this season like they kind of will justify it to themselves that, hey, we got hit with injuries bad last season. Let's see if we can run it back, and let's see if we can't win this division. I mean, we're right there last season. We're one game winning your in situation. Couldn't win that, but I think they have confidence in themselves right now to at least be competitive in the division and maybe win it. So I think this is another team to watch in this division that if they do get hot, if things do go right for them, I think you could easily see this team winning the NFC South again. The third team, one of my favorite off-season stories of the entire season, man. The New Orleans Saints. The hype around this team is fucking crazy, y'all. Everybody wants to Shough. Tyler Shough, man. He's the talk of the town, not only around the team, around the New Orleans Saints, not only in the division, but around the entire league. A lot of people are really believing in Tyler Shough right now, thinking how he can have a really good season and thinking he's that next young quarterback to really come on the scene in the NFL this season. Me, I want to believe in this team so bad. I love the vibes that they have going on right now with the Tyler Shough stuff. Chris Olave just got paid. He's looking to have a great year. They draft Jordan Tyson, receiver, to kind of pair him up with Olave and really, build, that offense to be able to put up a lot of numbers. I think the main thing with this team is health, dude. I think this team, if they stay healthy offensively, I think they'll make a little bit of noise. But the receivers are infamous for their ability to not stay healthy. Jordan Tyson already is dealing with a hamstring, so maybe a little bit of trouble in New Orleans right now. But I think the vibes are still high with this team. Alvin Kamara, maybe on his last leg here with New Orleans. They get Travis Etienne from the Jaguars in free agency. I think that's a solid addition. I really like their offensive line. Kelvin Banks, who they drafted last season, I think he's going to be a stud on that offensive line. Um, so I think they're good there. The defense is another question. Like, how good can this defense be? Can they kind of keep, you know, I wouldn't say keep pace with the offense, but I would say can they get a few stops a game? I think if they can do that, and if they can do that consistently on defense, then I think this team would be in the conversation, man. To win the division, I don't know. I don't know if I'm willing to go that far yet, but I think they'll be competitive in the division with these other two teams that we just talked about. Last team, my my secondary team that I like to root for. They employ the most infamous fantasy tight end in the league. It's the Atlanta Falcons. Kyle Pitts, fantasy owners. Man, I told this Kush story time last season on the pod. We've got some new fans, so I'm gonna tell it again. The Falcons and the Bucks game last season, late in the season, I believe it was one of those Thursday night wacky games. The Bucks ended up losing. Kyle Pitts went off, man. Kyle Pitts had a crazy good game. The numbers he put up were fucking ridiculous, man. And guess who your boy forgot to start on fantasy? Yep, hand up. It was me. I forgot to start Kyle Pitts that game. I'm still kicking myself in the ass for that. But hey, fantasy season's coming up. You already know I'm gonna draft Kyle Pitts, man. It's going to happen. I'm gonna draft Kyle Pitts. Like, he is there available for me to draft. I'm taking him, no questions asked. With that being said, let's get into the actual Atlanta Falcons preview. Their offense is talented, man. Their offense is talented. I like, a lot of people kind of criticize the Stefanski move. I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it as much. I like it from like offensive standpoint. Obviously, head coach wise, people have their opinions on him. Is he a good head coach, or is he just a good offensive coordinator, play caller? That's to be determined. But this team they have a good roster on offense. Drake London, love that guy. Bijan Robinson, amazing. What a fucking beast. Um, it's the quarterbacks, though. I think it's the damn quarterbacks. Tua, what's he going to look like in his second stop? He kind of worn out his welcome in Miami. The injuries, the concussions, all of that is a factor. Then we've got Michael Penix Jr., excuse me. He also is a guy that's been injury prone. A lot of people criticized them for drafting him early as they did a few seasons ago. Obviously valid. What's the quarterback situation going to look like? Who's starting? We don't even know who the fuck's the starting quarterback's going to be. Yeah, I think it all comes down to who's the starting quarterback. And can Stefanski kind of work his magic offensively to try to fix one of these guys? I think is the main concern here. So the Falcons, as much as I want them to be good, I don't know, guys. Falcons fans, sorry, I just don't know with the Atlanta Falcons. And with that being said, it's time to get to our predictions. Finishing in at number 4, it's got to be the Atlanta Falcons, man. It's got to be the Atlanta Falcons. We just talked about them, the quarterback situation. I think it's going to come down to that quarterback situation, and I don't think it's going to work out. There's just not huge likelihood of Tua being good. There's just not a high likelihood of Michael Penix getting in there and just figuring it out. I will say I do like the flashes from Penix Jr., but it's one of those things where I think for it to work, a lot of things have to work out for them. And with the Atlanta Falcons as a franchise, as a sports city, we just know this city is damn cursed when it comes to sports. So don't see that changing anytime soon. And yes, I believe in that stuff, guys. Uh, I don't think they're gonna break the curse. So Atlanta Falcons finishing number 4. Number 3, I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I know this is a super hot take, but I'm gonna go the Bucks finishing number 3. I will say before the Bucks fans start to get mad at me, I think it's gonna be close. But like I said, with the dark cloud over this organization, as far as the contract stuff and the Baker Mayfield stuff, I think, you know, the NFL has a way of that stuff permeating into the regular season. I think they're I think it's going to happen that way. And I think the Todd Bowles stuff, just does not really help their situation. I think there's just too much stuff going on with this team right now. I could see them getting off to a slow start. I think the question ultimately is, can the other teams take advantage of that? Because last season, that just didn't happen. Like there wasn't any week where the top team kind of took advantage of it and kind of went running away with this thing in the NFC South. So that is kind of the thing for me with the Bucks is if they do start slow, I think there's a chance they can kind of catch up, but I think there's also a chance that they're kind of going to stay down in that third spot. Number 2. Number 2 is the New Orleans Saints, man. Number 2 is the fucking New Orleans Saints. I am so excited for this team if they can stay healthy, and I'm so excited I want this team to win so bad. They've been in the gutter for a while. Like when the New Orleans Saints are good at football, that city gets lively, and I want to see that city get lively again, like it was in the Drew Brees days. Maybe they're not competing for Super Bowls, but I want to see this team in contention for the playoffs. And is that going to happen? I don't know, but I want it to happen. I want it to happen so bad, and I want to believe in the Shough train, Tyler Shough. I want to believe in the potential. Uh, I just want to believe in this team so bad. And is it like the most correct prediction? Guys, probably not. It's probably not. But I'm gonna go with the Saints at number 2. Fuck it. Saints number 2. They're gonna be exciting. They're gonna be exciting. Number 1, the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young is gonna repeat. Bryce Young, the Panthers, Dave Canales, and the guys are going to repeat as NFC South champions. It hasn't happened in a while, but you know what? This is the fuck it episode. Just fuck it. We're going to have the Carolina Panthers repeat. Bryce Young is going to have the best year of his career. The Panthers are going to go to the playoffs, and they're going to build on that loss from the Rams last season. I really can see that happening, and I guess you could say Bryce Young is another, I want to believe guy, for me on this podcast, but I think that's what it is, man. Like, Bryce Young to me, I feel like I want him to succeed so bad because everybody hates on him. And as a short guy myself, Bryce Young's the perfect guy to root for, man, because everybody rags on him for his goddamn height. And I can't stand it sometimes. I can relate. But yeah, Bryce Young is going to have this team in the playoffs again. And it's a team I can't wait to see, how they play out. And they have a lot of young players that, got a lot of experience last season, winning and being in the playoffs. So I think that's going to help them this season. Carolina Panthers. Shout out Carolina Mike. I've got you guys winning the division again. Carolina Panthers, NFC South champions 2026, brought to you by me. Um, so there we have it. The NFC South predictions for Play Action Takes podcast. Tell me what you guys think in the comments, man. Like, subscribe, follow our social medias. We got TikTok, we got Instagram, we got Twitter. Um, my personal Twitter at only one Kush. I love talking sports on there. So reach out to me. I talk a lot of Texans on there, but you know, reach out to me, man. Interact with me, all that good stuff. And we will see you guys next time on the next episode of Play Action Takes Podcast.